We all talk, right? It's something we do every single day. But think about it. How often do we really connect with someone? So today, we're going to break down the art of conversation, not as some special talent, but as a skill you can actually learn to build way better, deeper relationships.
Just think about it for a second. I bet you can instantly recall a conversation that left you feeling totally drained, and one that left you feeling, energized and alive. You know that feeling, don't you? But what's actually going on under the surface that makes them so incredibly different?
Well, a lot of it comes down to how we feel. A bad conversation can leave you feeling upset or angry, or honestly, just bored out of your mind. But a good one? That's totally different. That's when you feel understood. You feel closer to the other person. You walk away with more energy than you started with, feeling like, wow, I actually learned something just now.
Okay, so let's get into it. How do we get to that good feeling? Well, first we have to get the goal right. And for a lot of us, our goal, it's completely backward.
This right here is probably the single biggest mistake we all make. We walk into conversations like it's some kind of competition, a debate that we have to win. And honestly, that's just a recipe for disconnection. Does any of this sound a little familiar? Yeah, we've all been there. The goal becomes about winning the argument, getting our way, or just proving that we're right and they're wrong. But these are all about me, 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 and they totally block any chance of a real connection.
So here's the big shift we have to make. This is so crucial. The whole point of a great conversation isn't to win, it's to connect. So this is what success actually looks like. Ask yourself, did I learn something new? Do I get how the other person feels, even if I don't agree? Do I feel like they understood me? Do I feel just a little bit closer to them? That is the real victory.
And look, this isn't just about having nicer chats with your friends. This skill is actually fundamental to how we build our communities and really how we navigate the world around us.
We all have this, right? Our circle. Family, close friends, the people we can just be ourselves around. It's our social comfort zone.
And that comfort zone is so important, don't get me wrong. But the real magic, the stuff that builds communities and makes society stronger, well, that happens somewhere else.
It happens when we find the courage to step outside of that circle, to talk to someone new. That's how we build a better world, honestly, one conversation at a time. But it's not always that simple. And this is where things can get tricky. Let me tell you a quick story about a young man named Raju. His father was really sick, and at the doctor's office, Raju did what he was taught shows respect. He looked down at the floor, he was quiet, and he only spoke when he was spoken to with short yes or no answers. But the doctor, he saw it completely differently. He interpreted Raju's quietness, his lack of eye contact, as not caring. Later, a friend had to explain to Raju, he thought you didn't care about your own father's health. It's just a perfect example of how easily our wires can get crossed when our ideas of what's respectful just don't line up. So, okay, we know the goal is connection, and we know we have to be aware of these little nuances, but how do we actually do it? Well, it really comes down to two super fundamental skills: asking good questions and then truly listening. These 6 little words, they're like your secret conversational toolkit. See, unlike a question that just gets a yes or no, these are open-ended. They're like keys that unlock the other person's story. They invite them to share, to explain, and they turn a Q&A into a real shared exploration. And while they're talking, showing that you're actually listening is simple but so powerful. First, just look at them. It shows they've got your full attention. Second, a simple nod or a little smile shows you're engaged. Third, and this one's a big one, just stay quiet while they're speaking. Let them finish their thought. And finally, you can use these little verbal nods like yes or just to show that you're right there with them. All right, so we have the goal and we have the tools. But there's one last layer to all this. And you know what? It might just be the most important one. It's about what's going on inside you. Because look, you can master all the techniques in the world. You can ask the best questions. You can nod perfectly. But if your intention isn't genuine, people can feel it. They just can. The skills tell you how to do it. But your inner state, that's the why. At the end of the day, a great conversation is built on a foundation of these things right here. It's about approaching another human being with kindness, with real empathy, with a genuine interest in who they are, and a true desire to understand their world. There's this quote that it nails it. It's not about just saying the right words. It's about actually feeling a sense of care and kindness for the person right in front of you, whether it's your best friend or a total stranger.
So that's what I want to leave you with. As you go about your day, just think about this little shift from trying to win to trying to connect. And ask yourself this: who will you connect with today?